Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice to radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a rather exciting new item card coming out in the upcoming Celestial Storm expansion of the Pokemon trading card game. It is the, well, unusual as an item card, but we have kind of seen it before. Rainbow Brush. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new item card coming out. It's Rainbow Brush. It has, of course, been translated by the lovely David Hochmann over at limitlesstcg.com/translations, and it's rather interesting, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, it is an item card, and it reads, search your deck for a basic energy card, and swap it with an energy card attached to one of your Pokemon in play. Shuffle the energy you replaced into your deck. You basically switch a basic energy attached to one of your Pokemon from a basic energy card in your deck. Now, we did have a very similar thing going with Smeagol a little while ago. It was the Smeagol from Breakthrough of the second coat ability. Once during your turn, you may switch a basic energy card attached to your active Pokemon with a different type of basic energy from your discard pile. Of course, huge difference between Smeagol and Rainbow Brush. Rainbow Brush does it from your deck, whereas Smeagol does it from your discard pile. So with Smeagol, you'd have to be using stuff like Ultra Ball or Professor Sycamore to actually get that energy in your discard pile so that you could switch it out. And that actually made things much more difficult, because maybe you wanted to play a single copy of Water Energy. Well, the problem is you would have to find your single copy of Water Energy, get it in the discard, and then you could get Smeagol working. Whereas with Rainbow Brush, you can have one copy of Water Energy, you can leave it in your deck and search it out whenever you want. Smeagol's also an ability, so something like a Garbodor, well, that's going to turn it off. Something like an Alolan Muck, well, that's going to turn it off. Whereas an item card, you don't have to worry. Smeagol takes up a bench space, which Rainbow Paintbrush doesn't do. Now, it's not all good, of course, because Smeagol is very easily searched out with cards like Nest Ball or the aforementioned Ultra Ball. And, of course, you've always got to be a little bit wary of Garbodor. Anytime you introduce more item cards into your deck, you do need to sit there and think, hang on a second. Am I making myself a little bit too vulnerable to the Garbodor and its Trash Launch attack from Guardians Rising? So it's a better version of Smeagol, albeit as an item card. But then again, anyone ever play Smeagol? Anyone? I didn't. I had a great idea for Smeagol, right? I genuinely, legitimately tried testing it with all of the Reggies from Crimson Invasion, and it seemed like such a good idea. With all the Reggies together, gave you a whole bunch of different attacks, and then you could kind of parlay that into a bit of a deck. So Registeel would be your main attacker using Turbo Arm to accelerate energy, etc. But then you would have Reggies coming in, and don't forget it's immune to stage 2s, being able to do 70, and it only needed 1 water energy, so that was kind of convenient. And then Regirock was a bit of a pain because it had 2 fighting energy. So you'd have to kind of play more fighting, which is a bit of a pain. But then Registeel was hitting weakness on Gardevoir, and Regirock was hitting weakness on Zoroark, and Reggies was hitting weakness on Volcanion. And there was a short period of time where they were 3 very big decks, and I thought, you know what? This Reggie deck could work. Clearly, this Reggie deck never worked. Could it be better using Rainbow Brush? I mean, all of these Reggies are going to be legal in the upcoming format. When the rotation hits, all these Reggies are staying around. Now, I think at the moment we're in too much of a one-hit KO format, and really it's stuff like Ultra Necrozma and Buzzwole which are big at the moment, neither of which are being hit for weakness by the Reggies. So the Reggies really are kind of sit there and chill and see what happens. If the format kind of turns in your favour, then you can come and get involved. But for the time being, you know, sit in a corner and be quiet. But the Reggies represent a great example of what this deck could do under the right circumstances. And essentially what Rainbow Paintbrush is here for is ridiculous techs that your opponent just didn't see coming. So for instance, you're playing a Zoroark deck, you're playing it with Garbodor and Bursting Balloon, so that essentially your opponent doesn't have abilities while you've got Bursting Balloon attached, but then it falls off and you get your abilities back. And then of course you're playing a couple of Psychic Energy, so you can use Garbodor from Guardians Rising, and everything's ticking along quite nicely, and then all of a sudden it turns out you're in a mirror match and you drop a Buzzwole from Forbidden Light, when your opponent's got 4 prizes remaining. Usually a ridiculously awkward card to play in a deck that's playing Psychic Energy. But what you do is you have 1 or 2 fighting energy in your deck, and when the time is right, you drop Buzzwole, attach your Psychic Energy, play a Rainbow Brush, and you're off and rolling. And you could, if you wanted to, go a little bit over the top here, and just keep going. All of a sudden, you end up dropping a Registeel, get your 1 Metal Energy from the deck, and your opponent playing a Gardevoir deck sitting there with Ralphs in the active, all of a sudden they're all getting 1-hit KO'd by Registeel while you're using Rainbow Brush. And look, I get what a lot of you are probably thinking right now. Come on, Ross, that's way too awkward. And that really is the big sticking point with Rainbow Brush. It's a very awkward card, and maybe the examples I've given you aren't necessarily the best, although the idea of using a one-off Buzzwole I really do like. Maybe the examples that are best are cards that haven't even been released yet. But you know what? It opens up possibilities. In the past, we've all played Rainbow Energy at some point or another. Rainbow Energy puts a damage counter on you. Rainbow Energy is vulnerable to Enhanced Hammer. But we've all played it at times, because it's given us other options. We've got Counter Energy. Counter Energy's been really good with cards like Cobalion and cards like Sudowoodo, for instance. But it's a special energy, so it's really hard to search it out. And it's just hard to get it rolling. And you have to be behind on prizes, of course. And that's not the case with Rainbow Brush. And yeah, maybe it's too awkward to search out, but in the short term, we've got Skylar. And in the long term, you can always use something like Volkner from Forbidden Light. Now, using Volkner to search for an item card, I really like here, and here's what you do, right? Because you search for a Volkner using something like a Tapu Lele, and then you search for a Lightning Energy and a Rainbow Brush. You attach a Lightning Energy and then use Rainbow Brush to search for whatever energy you like. Now, in a Lightning deck, this would be amazing. Outside of a Lightning deck, you'd have to be playing like 1 Fighting Energy for Buzzwole, then 1 Lightning Energy for Volkner, and it's getting a little bit silly. But the point is, we've got options here. Rainbow Brush is searchable in a way that Counter Energy isn't. And it's not vulnerable to stuff like Enhanced Hammer. And sometimes, and we've all been there, you're making a deck and you're thinking, you know what? I really like this, but I just don't think I can beat Buzzwole. Or I really like this, but I just don't think I can beat Zoroark. And you have that one matchup you just can't beat. And what Rainbow Brush potentially allows you to do here is play just a couple of different basic energy, and you don't have to worry. You can attach them whenever you feel like it. You can use a Max Elixir not caring which energy you hit, because no matter which energy you hit, at some point, you're going to be able to drop a Rainbow Paintbrush, and then you're going to be off and rolling with the correct energy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend this is an easy card to use. And I am not going to tell you this is going to see play in every single deck, because it's not. What it is a very interesting card that opens up possibilities for very creative deck builders. A card that sooner or later, I am absolutely certain, someone is going to use in a deck and everyone's going to go, what? No one plays Rainbow Paintbrush. And yet, it's going to see a lot of success for them. It's going to be a fringe card. It's not going to see a huge amount of play, but I think there's so much potential here, I'm going to be giving it free wassies. And for the next couple of years until it rotates, I am going to be playing around with a whole bunch of different decks, all of which make use of this card. And maybe it will be like the Reggies and Smeagol, and I never find a good enough list to ever take to a tournament. Or maybe I can be that guy that's rocking up the deck where everyone else goes, oh, come on, that shouldn't even work. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the main reasons I play this game. But now it's time to hear from you lovely ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about Rainbow Paintbrush? Do you think it's viable? Do you think it's good? Or is Wassy going off on one again? Either way, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do just that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.